Greetings from Irshad Hussain. Friends, today I brought the topic which is quite hot these days, especially because of election. And the topic is in how many years Muslims will outnumber Hindus in India. Now, many senior BJP leaders, right-wing activists, and uh, even so-called Buddhijeevis have been talking about it these days. So we thought we'll just have a quick look at the facts and then try to conclude on this particular subject. Uh, Now, the first thing that people have been talking about it, the reason why they apprehend, they fear, and they feel that Islam or Muslims will overtake the Hindus in India after certain years is that Muslims are allowed to marry four women. So again, before we go into those details, let's just have a quick look at the scenario of 19th century in India. In India, the life expectancy of an average Indian in 19th century, say in the year 1820, it was less than 30 years. Yes, you heard it correctly. So, an average male could die at an age of 30 years. Now imagine an earning male dies at the age of 30 years. What would happen to his widow and the children? There were no pensions in those years. There were no life insurance policies in those years. So basically, she would have to survive on the mercy of her relatives, husband side relative or her side relatives, and the neighbors. And that would lead to sexual exploitation in many cases. And that is the reason why, I mean, if you think about it, it was allowed in ancient India to commit sati because rather than getting exploited, sexually exploited, it was decided, okay, let her uh, go to the funeral pyre and attain moksha along with her husband. Of course, this thing was abolished later on. Now let's shift the focus to Saudi Arabia in 7th century, the time when Islam came in. That time also same thing. The life expectancy of human being was similar, less than 30 years. And in the under same situation, the society allowed, and even the holy book of the Muslims allowed that that lady should be allowed to remarry rather than getting sexually exploited. And as the logic goes, I mean, no bachelor is going to marry a widow. So the men were also allowed to remarry. Means a married man could remarry a widow and take care of her and her children. Now, as I said earlier, this sati pratha was abolished by law. However, this polygamy is basically, it's like extinct. Tell me how many Muslims you know who are having four wives? We all know people. We all know we have neighbors and we have uh, co-workers and common people. So it's basically not there. Now, the next question comes that okay, the polygamy is not there. Then why there's a fact there is a slight growth rate of Muslims. It is slightly higher than the Hindus. The reason does not lie in the religion. The reason does not lie in the religion. The reason lies on literacy. Muslims have a much lower literacy rate than the Hindus, and this is there in the government of India statistics. So as the literacy rate of a society increases, the birth rate falls down. It's again a well-known fact all over the world. There are more than 15 countries in the world which have a negative growth rate. Germany is one of the examples, Latvia, and many other East European countries. Another very interesting fact I'd like to narrate to you is that the Middle Eastern countries, which are basically Muslim countries, their birth rate is lower than average birth rate of the whole world. They have money. They could go in for polygamy and they could have, a lot of children, but they are not going for it because they are literate. Their literacy rate is quite good. So the another statistics is that UAE, the country UAE, where Dubai is there, the population of the locals is only 11.2%. Rest are expatriates. Imagine, 27% in UAE are Indians, but they are not afraid. The locals are not saying, oh, we are in minority, it's our own country, but we are in minority, because they believe in rule of law. So the conclusion is that there will be no time, it's really not possible at all that Muslim population could overtake the Hindu population in India. It's for sure. That's proven by mathematics. And now, if really our friends would like to further ensure that the Muslim population doesn't grow too much, best thing is to educate them, to open schools in the Muslim areas, educate them, make them literate, and then their growth rate and basically the birth rate is going to decline. Thank you so much. Till I come with another video, eat healthy and think healthy. Thank you.